When you first get into online coaching, every guru out there tells you how easy it is to hit £10,000 per month, but it still feels ridiculously unattainable. And that's mostly because nobody really breaks it down and shows you exactly what has to go into your business in order for you to make that sort of money. Because yes, it is hard and it does feel unattainable at the very beginning, but it is very possible. There are many, many people out there, including my clients, including myself, including a lot of my friends who are able to do this. And in this video today, I'm going to break down exactly what has to go into your business in order for you to get to 10K per month in only 3 steps. There are literally only 3 things that you've got to focus on in order to get to those sorts of numbers. I don't really like to give more than like 3 main focuses during a video or while trying to teach something, because if I give you too much to focus on, it's going to make you confused, it's going to make you overwhelmed. And in reality, if you are feeling that way, then your business isn't going to work. You're not even going to get to 2K or 3K per month with an online coaching business if you're having those emotions of burnout, overwhelm, confusion. So this channel is all about keeping things simple while moving you online and getting you to between 5 and 10K per month. So if you're into that, subscribe. Let's jump straight into it. Now, first things first is the numbers. We have to make sure the numbers in your business make sense in congruency with your goal. So what that looks like is, for example, let's say you charge £100 per month. In order to hit £10,000, you're going to have to get to 100 clients. 100 clients. That's a lot of people. Now, what most people don't take into account looking at that, because you probably think, well, 100 clients, that can maybe happen over the course of a year, right? Or maybe 2 years. Sure. Like, you could probably get that amount of clients. You could probably make that amount of sales. I mean, it's less than 10 sales a month. It's about 8 sales a month. Sounds doable when you put it like that. However, most people don't take into account this thing called churn. And what churn is basically where clients leave. So a certain percentage of your clients won't stay with you. No matter how good your delivery is, life happens to people and they will stop paying you. It's just the way it goes. Let's look if we raise the price slightly. So if we go to £133 per month, you then need 75 clients. £200 per month, you then need only 50 clients. So again, I would say that 75 clients is still hard to manage, especially if you've got churn and people are coming and going and whatnot. When you get to 50 clients, that's a little bit more doable. Medium. One thing I just forgot to say actually at the beginning of this video, which I do want to make clear, is that, like, as a disclaimer, this is extremely simple, but it's not easy. Right, and you'll see this as we go along. Like, even though I'm putting easy on these numbers over here, which we'll talk about in a second, it doesn't mean that it's all going to be sunshines and rainbows, and it is going to be easier. But my job here is to make it as easy for you as possible. So it's in relation to how easy it possibly can be starting a business and getting to this amount of money. So just needed to make that disclaimer. 50 clients, £200 per month. 25 clients, £400 per month. And now you're probably thinking, oh, but like, who's going to pay me £400 per month for online coaching? Do people actually pay that? I mean, they do. Like, the answer is that they do. However, you have to be very confident and very skilled in order to get somebody to pay you £400 per month, and you have to have a good delivery. You can definitely get to £10,000 per month with monthly recurring revenue. However, there is a way that you can make your life a little bit easier, and that's by having package pricing. So for example, people pay you up front for 90 days or 4 months or 6 months or even 1 year. And we're going to use a bunch of examples for 90 days. Now, these numbers are a little bit inflated because we're accounting for a 90-day rotation. So for example here, if you were charging £500 for 90 days and wanting to do 10K per month every single month, you'd need a total, or you'd have a total of 60 clients, because you'd need to get 20 clients every single month, which equals £10,000, but those clients are going to stay with you for 3 months. So you'd end up with a total of 60 clients. Don't worry if you can't like wrap your head around the maths of that right now. Just trust me, it's 60 clients that you'd need if you're charging £500 for 90 days. 40 clients at one time if you're charging 750. 40 clients starts to sound a little bit more doable. 30 clients if you were charging £1,000 for 90 days. You'd only need 21 clients if you were charging £1,500 for 90 days. Now, I actually, from experience, and again, this is experience working as an online coach for the past sort of like 9-ish years at this point, and also working with 400 plus personal trainers helping them move online. £1,500 for 90 days, if you've got a high priority offer, which really helps people, is the absolute sweet spot. It is the absolute sweet spot. It's my £1,500 is one of my favorite numbers on the planet, because it is the sweet spot if you want to hit 10K per month. You need to get 7 clients per month. 7. It is extremely easy to do that. And it's not too much to ask. £1,500 is not too much to ask for an online coaching service. But you're probably wondering, right, well, that's all well and good, but how do I actually bring the clients on board? So let's actually transition now into talking about how you get these clients. We'll talk more about pricing models in other videos. If you click throughout my channel, there's all different videos surrounding this stuff. But if you're wondering, how am I going to get somebody to pay that amount of money? I'm not going to cover exactly that in this video. I'm actually going to leave a link to a different video where I do go deeper into building your offer and making sure it's worth the amount of money that you're wanting to charge for it. But I'll link that below. Let's move into client acquisition, because that's the juicy part. It's probably the part that you're wondering, well, how do I get clients? Somebody just tell me, right? Now, we're going to break this down to 3 sections. We've got content, calls, and cash. So first things first, we need to obviously be posting content so that, number one, people can become aware of your existence, and number two, that content can actually give people the opportunity to interact with you or engage with you as a lead. So let's just talk briefly. I want to show you an example of somebody that we're working with at the moment who's doing ridiculously well with content when it comes to growing your audience. You really only need between 10 and 20 followers per day to get a sufficient lead flow to sell 7 clients per month into a package like this, or 30 clients per month into a package like this, right? You really only need between 10 and 20 followers. Now, there are only 3 ways to grow an audience online. And I know that I've banged on about this in other videos, but you have organic content. You can post content and get 3 eyeballs. That is an eyeball and not a nipple. Sometimes when I draw that, people think I'm trying to boob, but I promise you I'm not. That is an eyeball. You've got free content that you can post. You've got paid content that you can post. And then you've got one-to-one outreach that you can do to people. Now, I am not the cold outreach guy. I'm not going to sit here and tell you to do cold outreach for your online coaching offer. However, there are certain methods that you can do on the internet which don't necessarily require you to send a cold message to somebody, but it's still regarded as sort of like one-to-one engagement. For example, if you add somebody as a friend on Facebook or a connection on LinkedIn, they're going to accept your LinkedIn request, and that's actually going to give you audience flow to your platform. I know it sounds like ridiculously simple, and like I said, it is really, really simple to do this. It's just not easy. But that is genuinely one thing that you can do. So if you suck at content, like if you're really bad, then this is something that you're going to want to do, especially if you've got no money to spend on ads either. But disclaimer, like it's not a long-term solution. You do want to get good at content so that you can eventually have enough clients to put money into ads, and then you can automate the whole thing like we have with ourselves. Now, I'm just going to show you my client, Karis. Now, Karis, I don't know how many followers she was at a few weeks ago, but this here is a screenshot of a platform called Social Blade. So as you can see, she did 6 followers, 17 followers, 13, so this is every single day. 6, 17, 13, 18, 23, 9, 26, 22, 47, 13. So a really decent flow of followers, and she's disproportionately focused on content, and she does make really good content. She really does her research on it. She understands what does well on the internet, and again, we'll talk about this in other videos. Maybe drop a comment saying audience, and I'll make sure that like there's a video soon on how to actually grow your audience, because now I've banged on about it in the past few videos. But anyway, like Karis is literally an example of somebody who is, this is her growth over the past few days, and she's also getting a lot of clients from doing so, right? And all she's doing is posting Reels, and you can literally go onto Karis's page right now if you want. I'm not saying steal her content, but like look at what she's doing. Look at how she's making that content, and figure out how could you make similar types of content. Could you emulate in your own offer and in your own niche what Karis is doing? You've all seen this type of content online. Like I'm not crazy for saying this. You've all seen this type of content online. When you scroll on Reels every single day, this is the type of content that you see. When people say, oh, I don't know what content to post, it's like you're looking at it daily. You're literally looking at the content daily. So like my best advice when it comes to audience growth content, and of course, like if you're a client of ours, we'll give you way more structure, and we plan this with you and really make sure that you are seeing these sorts of results and your following is growing. But like use your eyes. Like very plain and simply, like you've got to use your eyes at some point and come up with the ideas such as like Karis has. Don't just think that you can copy what Karis does, or just there's going to be this magic pill for content. You're going to have to get creative with it. You're going to have to like think for yourself and put out what you want to put out and test and experiment. Don't be afraid to be cringe in the early stages. It's going to happen. So that's audience growth content. Let's talk about conversion content. This is a client, Chica, and again, because she's got the audience flow, because we've worked on that very well, and she's built up a flow of people discovering who she is, we've built her offer in a way which is position to leverage. So a lot of people want the result that her offer provides. She can now put a story up and get leads off this story post that she did. I believe that she's booked like 3 calls already. She put this out at the time of the screenshot, literally 1 hour ago. So there you have it. She's probably booked more calls from there. And there's a whole story sequence before that explaining what the offer is. So again, if you're a client of ours, we'll definitely give you what the story sequence is and make sure that you're doing it right and you're getting inbound leads into your DMs so that you can book them onto calls. But that's conversion content. You need to get audience members flowing in through one of these methods, and then we need to make sure that you position your content in a way which drives people into your DMs, which leads us to calls. So you can book calls through 2 main means. You've got DMs and like manually booking the call with somebody, or you've got a funnel. So you can actually send somebody to a call booking funnel, i.e. a page that somebody can click on to book in a call. If you go below this video and you want to talk to me, I've actually got a call booking funnel which you can click through. You can see what it's about. You can learn a little bit about how I can help you, and you can actually click through and book a game plan call with myself where we can like talk you through what it is that we do and if we can help you. So essentially, you can either click on that and go and see it as an example, or if you actually want to book a call, then that's where you go and do that. But that's what a funnel would look like. I would recommend if you're starting out, don't go and build a funnel like I've got in the description of this. Like, you don't need that just yet. Just do it through the DMs and aim to book between 5 and 10 calls per week, right? That's about your KPI. So let's say, for example, you do book like on the upper end of that, you book 10 calls, between 6 and 7 show. You've got a, let's say a 20 to 40% show rate. Then the cash collected on that will be about between £1,000 and £3,000 per week. And I know that because that's exactly what it's been like with many of our clients. And I mean, we've literally worked, I'm just gonna share my screen here. We've literally worked with hundreds of people and used the exact process that I've just showed to you there. I'm just gonna show you this. This is, results, as you can see, 217 weeks ago. We've been doing this for over 4 years at this point. Hundreds and hundreds of people. These are all screenshot wins from clients that have been in my group. People sending me screenshot wins. Like, I'm not going to keep banging on about this. The reason I'm not saying this to like be like, oh, like, look how amazing I am, you should definitely join my thing. I'm showing you this because this exact thing that I've just walked you through is exactly what these recent wins, Alistair, Alex, Ray, Andrew, Curtis, and the hundreds of other people that I've just shown you, that's exactly what they have done. The exact same as this to get to those sorts of numbers. For example, Alex over here, obviously he's got a really big following now because we've now been running ads with Alex and he's been posting his organic content and getting some pretty tasty views on them because he's really got it down to a science. He's really obsessed over that. He's really used his brain, right? I've used Alex in other examples as well, and he's a really good one. But I need to update this. He's actually cleared £10,000 per month now, which is obviously really good for him. So congratulations, Alex. That is a client acquisition machine, which will lead to 10K, 5 to 10K per month. But we've got to have these sort of pricing models in place as well. So the third step, transformations. Now, this is kind of the part where a lot of people will have clicked off. You might even be thinking of doing so. You might even be like, okay, cool, like I get it. Like he's kind of shown me, obviously I know I need to do content and calls and cash. But do you know, like a lot of people try to implement this stuff, but it doesn't end up working for them because they don't focus on this final step. So if you're thinking about clicking off right now, this is the point at which I would recommend not doing that. And the reason is because no one really considers the actual transformation that they're going to take their clients on. And that's why they don't get clients, because they'll do these things, they'll make content, but it won't allude to a specific journey. They'll get people on calls, but they won't have like an actual process to take them through. They'll try to collect cash, but they're not confident in the transformation and the service that they're going to be providing and what the result of that service is going to be. And ultimately, it's because they don't have a structure. We call this thing that you're looking at right now the transformation machine. And I'm actually just going to flick pages a second because I want to show you and help you understand what a process should look like with a coaching product online to take somebody towards a desired outcome. And I'm not going to show you a fitness example of this, and the reason for that is because you won't be able to relate and it won't have the effect that this is supposed to have when you're showing this to somebody or when you're using this with a client, it won't have the intended effect of it. So I'm actually going to show you a business example because you're currently a struggling business owner who's trying to move their business online. And I'm going to show you what we do with our clients so that you get a good understanding of this and you can actually like feel the effects of what this thing should do. And then you can probably go and more effectively craft something like this for your own clients. So the way that I like to structure a delivery service is having a very clear before and after. So for example, right now of yourself, you might be working in the gym floor or a 9-to-5 job with little to no online income. You're seeing people traveling the world and seeing online coaches make money online. And you want to get to the point where you're doing the same. And our result that we take people to is helping them make between £10,000 and £20,000 per month from online coaching. That's something that we do over the course of sometimes 1, 2, 3 years. It's not like a big financial promise that we're making in the next 6 months. It's just like our tangible outcome that we know our system can take people to because that's what it's done in the past, right? So that's that. Now, the next thing I want to explain is these red boxes here. These are the things that are stopping you get from where you are right now to the point where you're making this sort of money. Number one is having a small audience. You don't have a flow of people coming to you, so how are you meant to even turn anybody to clients? Number two, even if you do have a flow of people coming to you, we don't have a very structured system in place to actually go ahead and get people to pay us. We have monetary uncertainty. We don't know how to get money from people. That's currently the problem that you're dealing with. Next is having an unstructured delivery, not being sure on how to actually structure your service and your delivery to turn those people into fantastic testimonials, fantastic results. So the 3 areas that we work on with you is number 1, growing your audience. Number 2, converting your audience. Number 3, getting fantastic results from the people that you work with. Now, if you're looking at this and going, that is kind of like what I need help with. That's the point. That's the point of this, right? And that's why our product is so good, is because we've literally structured it to this. And that's why literally everybody that we work with and puts the work in, they get results. And then beyond that, I'm not going to explain these grays just because I don't want to like bore the shit out of you. But essentially like these gray boxes is like the architecture to make up each one of these pillars. So I'm essentially explaining to you, hey, we're going to get you like this result. And here's how it's going to happen, right? So again, if you jump on a call with me and you're potentially joining our program, I will always show you this just so I can show you the roadmap of like, hey, this is what you told me that you need help with. This is how we're going to do it. This is what it's going to look like for you. Now, this is something that you need to start to think about for your clients. I have obsessed over the process of getting people results. I've obsessed over, your results. I've obsessed over moving people online. When I was a handstand coach, I obsessed over getting people to that result. When I was a fitness coach, I obsessed over making sure that somebody could lose the weight and gain the muscle and build an aesthetic body. I dived into that process so clearly and I cared more about that process than I did about the money or the sale. This is so, so, so important. Everybody neglects this. And that's why their marketing doesn't work, because it's not backed by a process that actually works and gets results. Do you see that? It's never going to work unless you have this, right? You're never going to have the confidence to actually get clients and to actually sell. And if you do, they're never going to stick around because you don't have this process in place. So again, decide what's the before and after you're taking your clients through. And don't tell me more confidence. Don't tell me, lose weight, build muscle. Like, it can't be like that broad. It needs to be something specific and tangible, and I'm going to link the video below that's going to help you kind of discover that. But anyway, guys, like, that is literally the 3 steps to that is all you've got to focus on in order to hit 10K per month as an online coach. I mean, even to hit 5K per month, even to hit 3K per month, this is really all we've got to focus on. Is number 1, do the maths on your numbers, make sure it makes sense towards your goal. Number 2, make sure your audience is growing and engaging through your content. Make sure you're booking calls through your DMs or a funnel. And then from there, on those calls, make sure that you're getting them to show up so that you can help them make the decision to become a client and, pay you. And then from there, you've got to make sure that they're getting results. Now, if you've kind of been trying some of this and you're just a little bit like, yeah, look, I get it, but I've already tried this. Like, I've already tried this. Like, you have done something wrong and you currently don't know what. Because if you're sat there scratching your head, like wondering why it didn't work, then we need to figure that out. And that's essentially all a coaching service and a business mentorship does. So again, like, if you want to make sure that you solve those problems, if you want to be a professional and you want to actually get to the point where you are making £10,000 per month from your online coaching business, I can help you do that. So click the link in the description and that'll take you through to my little call booking page and you can decide if it's for you or not. Jump on a call myself and I will help you make the decision to become a client. But yeah, Hopefully that was helpful, and I will see you in the next. See ya.